But these are all the overnight cues, and how are they going to impact the Indian markets? Our team of researchers at CNBC-TV18 is joining in to tell us the trade setup and the stocks that are likely to be in focus in today's session. First up, we have Rima, who is getting in with all the market cues that we need to watch out for today. Good morning, Rima. As you mentioned yesterday, the Nifty continues to remain in a range. Tell us more.
In a range, but at least yesterday, there was quite a remarkable rebound that we saw from the day's low. The Nifty at the day's low went down to levels of 19,700, and from there we had a 100-point recovery to close above 19,800. The global markets are upbeat. You spoke about how US markets rallied nearly about 0.5%, though they go into a holiday today, and tomorrow is going to be a holiday shortened day for them. So just half day for the US markets, and then the Indian markets are shut on a Monday. So maybe on the volume side, it could be on the lighter side. Crude prices had a fairly volatile session. First, they dropped nearly 4%, but then they managed to recover. But now, day on day, they're just down by nearly 1%. We'll talk more about how the OPEC meeting got pushed forward to next weekend. Now, the recent high on the Nifty was 19,875. We hit that on the 16th of November. So on the way up, that would be the initial resistance for the markets to conquer. Banks have been floundering a bit. Week to date, the banking index has underperformed the IT index by nearly 1.5%. The IT index has rallied more than 1%. Banks have fallen by 0.3%. In terms of flows, the DII's net bought 721 crore. The FI's net sold 306 crore. But there was a lot of fund inflow into the primary market space. Yesterday, we spoke about how 4 IPOs opened up for trade and solid subscriptions seen on day one. So Tata Tech is at 6.5 times. Gandhar Oil Refinery, the largest manufacturer of white oils which go into your creams and hair oils, is up 5.5%. Flair Writing too got subscribed more than 2x. It's only Fedfina which is still not seeing some momentum in terms of subscription. So all in all, yesterday was a good session. This morning, cues are pretty good. We'll wait to see whether we can, get back above the 19,875, which is the recent high on the Nifty. Back to you.
That will be the level to watch out for, as Rima highlighted, 19,875. And incidentally, yesterday was also the first time since the 17th of October that the Nifty closed above the 19,800 mark. Thanks for joining in, Rima. The GIFT Nifty is implying an open of around 9 points higher for the Nifty. Now over to Abhishek, who's joining in with the stocks that we need to watch out for in today's session. Abhishek, tell us more.
Well, Homas, to begin with, the Power Grid Committee of Directors on Investment of Projects, in its meeting that was held yesterday, have approved or accorded investment approval for 2 projects. Shalby Limited, they have executed agreement to construct a hospital at Santa Cruz in Mumbai. Welspun Corp, they'll invest about 497.5 crore in Sambalpur of Odisha. TVS Motors, they have entered Vietnam. They have launched a range of 2-wheelers over there. Walchand Nagar Industries labor strike has begun from 22nd November 2023 at its Walchand Nagar plant. CE Info System board meeting will be held on 27th of November to consider a proposal of fundraising. Interglobe Aviation, they have received a rupees 740 crore of order from Commissioner of Income Tax Appeals. The tax order is for the assessment of 2016-17 and 2017-18. The company says that it will contest the tax demand. In terms of numbers, Honasa Consumer net profit is up more 93.5% YOY. Revenue is up almost 21% YOY, and they have seen margin expansion of almost 170 basis points on a YOY basis. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Abhishek. And speaking of Honasa Consumer, the man who studied Honasa Consumers inside out is joining us now, Mangalam Malu. But he's going to tell us more about the FNOQs this morning. Good morning, Mangalam. The Nifty closed above 19,800, but the Nifty Bank seems to be the dodgy one this time around.
The Nifty Bank has been dodgy for the last few trading sessions, Hormaz. In fact, if you just take a look at the intraday charts of both the Nifty as well as the Nifty Bank, they are pretty mirroring each other, but the only difference being the Nifty ended about 28 points higher, whereas the Nifty Bank ended about 0.5% lower, and that's the impact that it had on the Nifty itself. But here's the thing about range-bound markets, right? When they open at the highs, we see some supply, and at the lows, we see some support as well. The highs yesterday were similar to the highs that we saw in the previous trading session, around 19,825 and 19,829 itself. So the previous plate comes up for you on the screen. What's interesting, however, is that the GIFT Nifty's indication of start in the mild green is suggesting that we would open near yesterday's high itself, and do we sustain above that or not? In any case, the lows of the market have been defined. The 19,700 mark, which was the low yesterday, and from where we saw a near 100-point recovery, is something that will stand as a support. The Nifty Bank is at an interesting juncture because it is above the 20-day moving average and the 200-day moving average, and it's very near to these supports as well. 43,300 to 43,400 is an important support zone for the Nifty Bank. There were institutional flows in the positive for the second day running for our markets. Both the days it was DII led, and the FIs continue to nibble in index futures as well, close to around 400 crores were the purchase that we saw yesterday. And if you take a look at their action, not as much short covering, but a lot more long build up is what we saw. 3,700 contracts added, and the longs have inched higher to around 23%. At the start of the week, they were just around 20-odd%. It is a Thursday, which means it is Nifty weekly options expiry. What are the option writers penciling in? 19,850 call has seen a fair amount of writing for close to around 37 odd rupees. Were the markets to cross that initial hurdle of 19,875 odd, there has been a lot of punt buying at the 20,000 call as well. So were we to cross that 19,800, 19,900 mark formidably, we can look at 20,000 as the next leg. At the lower level, 19,750 put has been extremely active. So 19,700 to 19,900 is the range that the option writers eye. In terms of stocks to watch out for, remember there were 11 stocks in F&O ban, 2 of them have come out, so we'll watch out for moves out there. Delta Corp usually moves higher after coming out of F&O ban, and the other one is Vodafone Idea. After a big rally that we saw earlier, now for the second day running, we're seeing some long positions being unwound out there.
Thanks a lot, Mangalam, for joining in. And 19,700 to 19,900 is the range that he highlighted as well. Today is the options expiry for the Nifty, but the Nifty Bank is the one that we will keep an eye out for with that 43,300 to 43,400 range. Time for a short break here on Power Breakfast. Up next, we'll get you cues from the commodities market and how the oil prices are trading this morning due to the OPEC meet delay. Stay tuned. We'll be back shortly.